Alright, so in today's vlog, shot in London, England in 2018, I think it was, I'm talking a lot about my number one hack that I use to generate productivity for myself. And in these examples, I'm talking about the companies I owned and I held in 2018, which were 2 agencies and a software company too. However, this same hack, this same principle has now grown and is now also being applied into our Dream Team Intensive to our clients across about 40 different industries. So, as always, as I'm talking about this hack, as I'm explaining the process, see how it can be adjusted to your industry and your current situation. This is something that I still use here today inside my own projects and the companies that I have, because it really highlights any flaws or any dependencies that the team might have on me, or my customers could have, or any dependencies on any certain processes or protocols as well. So with that being said, let's hop into this recording. Just thought I would film this as a little bit of a contextual pre-frame. Ensure that the examples that I'm explaining here, don't just take them for those industry examples. This protocol that I'm about to take you through now has been used through all of our clients inside the Dream Team Intensive. So take some notes, sit back and enjoy. Hey, Jamie Stenhouse here. Welcome to London, England. I've just flown in from Abu Dhabi and prior before that from Sydney, Australia. And I want to share with you my biggest productivity hack that I've used in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, and of course I'll be using it again in 2019 as well. And it's the same productivity hack that I've used to launch out my agencies that I own, the software company, and launch and completely fill up my private client program called the Dream Team Intensive. So this productivity hack isn't something you've heard before. It's not linked to a calendar hack, or how you prioritize action items, or how you outsource, or how you get out of bed at 4:30 every single day. This is a very unique but very simplistic productivity hack that we've all known and heard of before, but we sometimes lose track of because we get overwhelmed with other tools or other tips or other hacks or new wearables that track our productivity and our sleep and all of that. Now, while all of those tools are great, what I want to share with you today is the most powerful productivity hack that I've used that destroys anything else I've ever come across. So we'll be getting into that today from the chilly outdoors of London, England. Now, before we get into tonight's content, have you heard of this quote before? It goes along the lines of, the work will always fill the time available, or the work will always fill the space available. And what that really comes down to is that if you have the opportunity to allow a project to lag, or allow a project to delay or take more time than it should, then more than likely the project will take more time than what it should take. We can have a look at this, as I'm sure you'll agree in your own lives, if you've been through high school or through university and you get a huge assignment or a huge project and you have 4 weeks to complete it. However, the first 3 weeks and 4 days are spent fluffing about and not really executing on it. And then of course in the last 2 days, or even the evening before, you manage to cram it all in and get it done on time. Now, why is that? Why do we happen to have 4 weeks to complete a project, or in this example a piece of homework or a assignment, and then happen to wait until the night before to do it? Well, of course, work will always fill the space available. It will always fill the time available. So if you have 3 months to complete something, then it will take 3 months. Even though the task should only take 2 weeks, but you've got a 3-month window to get it done, it will take 3 months. So how does this correlate to my productivity hack of the year? Well, as I was saying before, I use this a lot for my agencies. I used it to launch my software company, to launch and create the Dream Team Intensive, which is my private client program. And I've been using it since about 2015, year after year, and it's not a short-term hack. It's a hack that lasts for the whole year. It's not something you apply if you want to get a quick 2-day project done. This is a hack if you want to launch out a whole new company, a whole new product line, do a big product launch, fill up your coaching program, develop a team for your agency, create a whole new software company, put employees in there, automate it, scale it. All of these things I've been able to do by using this hack. Now, I've hyped it up long enough. What is the hack? Well, before I go into that, a tool that I use to track the KPIs of this hack, and the KPIs that I track are my productivity, so how effective I am per hour, and the amount of hours that I work per day. And the tool that I use for this is Rescue Time. It's free. There is a premium version as well, but what it allows me to do is to see the time that I've worked and what I've been working on. And as you can see from this screenshot here, year after year after year after year, I've always increased towards the end of each year. Now, why is that? It's not just because the end of the year is approaching, but it's because since about 2015, I've always organized a 3-month trip at the end of each year. So in 2015, 2016, I did 3 months over in Europe. In 2017, I did Greece, Croatia, and America for 3 months. And of course, now that it's 2018, I'm in London, England, also doing a long trip as well. Not sure how long this one will be, but through organizing a trip, through being aware that that plane is going on this date, if it be 4 months out, 8 months out, 2 months out, everything will have to get complete before I go, because I know that plane is leaving without me or not. And as you can see, I organized the trip around about this timeline here on this screenshot, and of course my output and my productivity scaled up immensely. So this allows me to do a few things. Because I have a trip organized, I now automatically prioritize between, okay, where should my time be spent? If I know that I am going overseas for 3 months and my end goal is to launch a new company before I go, or to develop a product suite before I go, or to automate my agency through a virtual team, which I have now for all of my companies. Whatever the outcome is, it allows me to prioritize the most important and impactful things to do before I go. And anything that isn't important and that is not impactful just gets ignored. So for the last 4 months, 4.5 months, I was creating and developing and improving and taking clients on board and working with entrepreneurs, agencies, and other digital marketers to help them develop, grow, and scale their own high-performing virtual team through my program, the Dream Team Intensive. It's a fantastic program. You can learn more about it by clicking the link underneath this video here. As I was saying before, because that was my end goal, I ignored everything else. I didn't do client meetings. I didn't respond to side projects. I didn't do any interviews. I put a hold on all my content production. I pretty much went full offline mode to execute that one goal, because I knew that that goal had to be achieved before I went overseas. At this time, I had my agency automated, so that was the goal for the last year. I launched out my software company, got that automated as well through my team. So I've achieved large goals time and time again through organizing a trip overseas. And it sounds counterproductive, because you're like, well, I want to hustle more, I want to do more goals and pursue larger ambitious projects. However, you're telling me to organize a holiday? I am. And it sounds counterintuitive, but it's purely because you know that once you get on that plane, everything else is in the office, or everything will remain at home. When you're overseas, that's it. Like, whatever you haven't done hasn't been done. So it forces you to prioritize things automatically, to ignore things that are distractions, to really just put your head down and only work on the smart things. You would be so shocked to see how much you get complete when you have a trip coming up. And the closer that trip gets, the more output that happens, the more productive you are, the more you ignore social media and YouTube, the more you get up out of bed earlier, the more you prioritize and sort out, okay, well, I've got these 20 action items to do, but really only these 4 need to be complete before I go overseas. The others can wait till I get back, or the others might not even have to get done, right? So because you've got a short span of time, because you're about to leave on this certain date, this plane is going, the work will fill the time available. And that has been by far the most powerful productivity hack that I've used year after year for my agencies, because I've got two agencies now, the software company and my private coaching and consulting program. Organizing a trip overseas to get things done is insanely helpful for my productivity, because the work will fill the time available. So if you put a cap on the time you have to complete a project, it will get done. Or it won't get done, but more than likely it will get done if it's really important and it is a cornerstone piece to you achieving your goal. Because if we're at home and we're not traveling and we're trying to achieve a certain goal month after month after month, there's no real consequence if we don't achieve. Like, we have more time. Like, I'll do it next week or next month. It's all right. There's always 2020, 2021 to achieve that goal. However, if you're leaving all your resources at home, if you're leaving your time zone, if you're leaving everything behind to go overseas, even for 2 weeks, it doesn't have to be a long 3-month trip like I take every single year. I just choose that because I have the agency, I have the team who handle everything while I'm overseas. But it can be a week trip, it can be a 4-week trip. I suggest 3 to 4 weeks to begin with. That's enough time offline where you have to prioritize things, get things automated, get things processed, really sort out what is important and what is not important. So let's say you go overseas for 3 to 4 weeks. Now you've got a timeline to get your projects complete. You'll prioritize what is important, what is not important, what can wait to when you get back, and usually those items that you put aside for when you get back don't ever get complete, which is an indicator they weren't even important to begin with as well. So organizing a trip, ensuring you have a endpoint for the amount of time you have left is incredible, because otherwise things just drag on like month after month. You get caught up in the routine because you know subconsciously you have time. You have next week, the week after, you have the next fortnight, you have next Christmas. Like, you've always got more time if you remain in the place that is comfortable, if you remain where the resources are at your home, where you have easy access to your clients, to your team, to your connections, to your friends, to your office, where you remain where things are easy. Time isn't going to help you to execute quicker. Organizing a trip overseas, even if it's a client trip, like I'm over here, I saw 6 clients in London this week. So I'm not just out here doing a holiday, like sleeping in and drinking margaritas in the cold, but I'm over here still working, still seeing clients. However, I knew that all of my resources, all of my energy that I use at home can't come with me. So I use that to get a few crucial projects complete and done. So that is my number 1 productivity hack. If you don't believe me, organize a trip, see what the cause and effect is of that. I guarantee you'll be mortified and shocked at how much more productive you are when it comes to executing on really large goals, like really large 8-12 month goals. You know you've got a trip coming up in October or in June or in August. You know that has to get complete before you go. It will light a fire underneath your ass like nothing else will, and I can prove that through the screenshots of my hours worked and the productivity worked month after month leading up to every single trip. And you can ask anyone who I've traveled with as well, that organizing a trip instantly prioritizes what is important, what is not important, and forces you to get it done. So that's it for me here in London, England. I will chat to you in the next vlog I have here. If you enjoyed this, ensure you hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know where you think you'll be taking your next trip to, what projects you're trying to achieve, and if you agree with the quote of the work will fill the time available. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one.